Man, gather round. OG Silverback here. And now we're going to continue talking about beast mode living in prison with a savage mindset with my special guest, Lucky. Hey, Lucky, so last time we talked, you were talking about there was a shot caller and he was buying you everything. Every time you went to the canteen, you didn't have to buy nothing, trades and all this stuff. So I want to go more into, I want to ask you a question more specifically. Do gang members have gay sex? Because you were saying initially you were afraid to mess with gang members, but I'm thinking after you got acclimated to prison, maybe that changed. Can you talk about that?
Actually, it's really kind of interesting that you follow up with this question because that guy was in a gang. That's part of how he had so much influence. Like literally, he was part of the blood gang for I think like 10 years or something like that. And then finally he had, quit it, I guess, got beaten out or whatever, even though he had he had a reputation for fighting. Like even when I knew him, it didn't take much for him to like fight somebody. But at the same time, he had a history of never putting his hands on like a queen ever, So I thought that was pretty cool. But he did make me nervous because he had 4 body counts, and he was also just really cool with all the administration, the sergeants, the lieutenants, the unit managers, the counselors. They just loved him and they would do anything for him. I joined horticulture class. It's like a trade. Mm-hmm. And the next day he was in that class following my ass. Yeah.
Hey, but I got a question for you. You said he had 4 bodies. That's like 4 murders. So he was a lifer?
No, I know, because he had money on the outside. He was doing 16 years. Because his story now, later I did start to wonder if he lied sometimes, because some people, they do like gas themselves up.
But, hey, Lucky, I do that a lot, man. I gas myself the fuck up every day.
I mean, I guess it's good for confidence or something, but at the same time, it's like you got to be honest at the same time,
Hey, I'm glad you brought that up, but since we're talking about honesty, how honest is the guy that I saw on your channel one time? You said this married dude was talking sex stuff with his wife. I love you so much, and she's coming to visit, and then after he gets off the phone, he's having, I think you said, intercourse with you. So how honest is that?
No, it's not honest at all. Yeah, no, that was really crazy. And I definitely felt terrible about it.
No, I didn't want to make you feel bad, but I'm just saying, man, people always get on me for lying and gassing up. Hey, man, I think everybody lies. I just lie really good. That's me. But anyway, tell me about the gang members, man. Did you have consensual sex with gang members?
The only gang member that I had sex with was that guy, but I did get sued by a lot of different gang members. There was, actually, I'm lying. There was another gang member that I had sex with, which this was crazy. They moved me into his cell and everybody in the pod was tripping that he had let me stay in the cell. Like I stayed in his cell for the weekend and then I moved out Monday. And I was kind of bothered by this because that night he got me high and everything. And then, I don't even know how, but somehow it's like we started getting it on and everything. And in my mind, I had been moved around a lot. So it was like, I just wanted to have a place to just lay my head down. You know what I mean? Like I just thought to myself, like, well, maybe if at first I was thinking like, maybe if he just realizes I'm not, no trouble, or I'm not even going to come at him or anything like that, then maybe he'll let me stay. But I didn't know the whole rules and stuff. But then after I saw that he was trying to get with me, then I guess I started thinking to myself, like, well, maybe if I, satisfy him, then I can like, just stay here. And I still had to move. But the thing that was crazy is he was a gang member. Everybody in the pod was suspicious, and he had like street cred. He had like street cred from the outside. People knew him from the outside, and that's what carried on like on the inside.
Can you say what gang he was in, or does that kind of get you in trouble?
No, it was Gangster Disciples.
Woo, doggy. Yeah.
Yeah, the Gangster Disciples. And then he had big cred in the pod, you know what I'm saying, for like people that knew him on the outside and stuff. So they were all tripping that he had even let me in. And then the thing that was crazy after that is because in that weekend we was messing around. He was kind of like giving me food, giving me whatever I needed to fix meals, getting me high and stuff. I moved into.
Hey, I'm sorry, man, but when you say messing around, I just want to make it clear: you guys were just like kissing and hugging and cuddling, or were you guys like going straight, beast mode?
Straight beast mode.
Okay, just wanted to.
He was like yeah, it was like full on, I'm bouncing on top of this dude.
Woo, doggy. Okay. All right.
And then when I moved Monday, this was the thing that really had everybody like just, it was blowing their mind. I never messed around with him again after that. But I was in that pod for about like a month afterwards. And I was friends with 3 other like people in the community, like another queen and then 2 guys that they just, date the queens. You know what I'm saying? And we all used to play cards with each other. We would cook meals for each other and stuff like that. I didn't have it like that, but I could go to this guy and ask him for anything. I'd ask him literally for like 4 sodas, 2 sausages, 2 sleeves of crackers, 6 soups or whatever, you know what I mean? A pepperoni, whatever. And he'd give it to me. And this was multiple times, like probably like 3-4 times a week. You know what I'm saying? I could go to him for anything and party favors, like to get high and stuff like that. And
but you weren't messing around with him after you moved out the South.
No, and everybody was so confused. They were like, "Why are you doing this for this queen, this boy, whatever?" And he just tried to carry the story like, "Well, I feel bad making him move out like that because he really good peoples and stuff like that. Like, the dude, he ain't on no bullshit." And it's like, it just made me feel bad that I had to kick him out just because he's gay. You know what I mean? That was his story.
But yeah, really, but that's not the truth. We know that's not the damn truth, right?
Yeah, no, it's definitely not the truth. Yeah, no.
Hey, so why do you think you had to move, man? Why do you think you had to move, Lucky?
I was gonna say I had put that thing down on him and had him turned out, honey. That's why he was giving me all that stuff. But I had to move because of his reputation. You know what I mean? Like he was in a gang. But him and that sugar daddy dude were the only gang members I messed with. There were several though that I've seen come at Queens, that I've seen queens messing around with, screwing full on. It's their husband, but they just trying to keep it secret, and then people will figure it out, and there's problems, and then people coming at me. But I never tried to do that. Okay. I was scared.
Hey, but just so we keep it like an interactive interview, I just want to tell you my gang member story, man, because like I was in level 4 with murderers, man. Like I was in there with some Bloods that killed some Crips. They had all day. That's like life without parole. I was in there with Crips that killed Bloods. I was in there with Serenios. I was in there with ABs, just murderers, right? Murderers, right? Never getting out. And these are shot callers because, when you're a murderer and you got creds, man, like, don't fuck with me because I'll take your life, right? Hey, right. Man, I'm going to say I've seen every race of shot calling. I'm not saying all people, but I'm saying I've seen every race. So it ain't just whites or blacks or Mexican. I've never seen Asians or Samoans do it. That's the truth. But I seen them all would have a boy in their cell, bro. And this is reason I'm telling you the story, Lucky, because everybody knew that was dude's boy, his wife, his lady, whatever. You don't even talk to that dude on the yard. Like I never talked to gay dudes on the yard anyway, because then I didn't want somebody to be like, "Hey, my man, why are you talking about women, man?" So I just was like, I didn't talk to him because I knew the I'm being honest, I know the politics, but I'm saying I've seen shot callers smoke other dudes for talking to their boy, talking to their lady, bro. Yeah, or trying to get at the lady and the dude be like, "Hey man, that's my broad, homie. Oh, man, game recognized game player. If I could take your broad, homie, don't even trip. Oh no, I'm gonna trip because I'm gonna smoke your ass." And they go to battle with knives, bro, over the boys.
No, I know. In fact, that guy that I told you about, the prison, my sugar daddy, he used to beat up several different people because they would be asking him like if he would let them borrow me. You know what I'm saying? Like they'd be like, "Hey, you trying to let me use your boy?" And he would like fuck them up. You know what I mean? Like, cause I kept telling everybody we was friends. He obviously wanted me to be like his wife. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, and then there was a investigator one time had told me he was removing me from a pod because he was nervous that I was going to start a riot. because there was like a bunch of rumors going on around, and it was purely just because I was like nice to people. I had a lot to learn when I first had got in there, and it was charming people. I didn't even know that this was happening, and then there just started to be like all these rumors going on, and the investigator caught wind of it, and then investigated me, and investigated like a bunch of people from the pod, and everybody was all like heightened up, like, you know, no, he ain't no problem, he needs to stay here and all this stuff, like, you know, we love having him around, there's no reason for him to be, you know, separated or anything like that. And because it was like 8 different guys that had this type of energy, the investigator then tells me, he's like, well, there's something going on that I'm unaware of. He clearly thought I was like sucking everybody's dick, like seriously. And he's just like, well, I have to think about the safety of the inmates, as well as your safety. And I can't have you in there if you're going to be starting riots. And I was blown away by this. And these are all guys that have girlfriends on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like literally baby mamas that they talk to on the phone and stuff.
And come visit them and everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, how am I going to be starting a riot? Like,
yeah,
you know.
I'm glad you brought that up, Lucky. I'm glad you brought that up because I want to tell you, I'm not talking about shot callers. I'm just talking about gang members, right? This is what I've seen. And I'm not going to say any names of the gangs because then I already got threats to my life, Lucky, which I don't give a shit about. But I'm just trying to, you know, just trying to go under the radar. But I've seen every gang have like a boy that they share. And I'm not talking about shot callers because shot callers just have the boy to themselves. I'm talking about regular gang members. The gangs have a boy or a gay dude that they pass around and they share, and it's consensual sex within their gang or their clique. And they'd be like, hey, it's Tuesday, tonight's my night. All right, man, tomorrow's Wednesday, it's your night. Okay, Thursday, it's Fred's night. Okay, Friday. And the homosexual dude's loving it, man, because he's just he's just getting it in.
They're taken care of and they get protection. And I seen it. And then also I had people, guys, gang members tried to do that with me, but I just wouldn't like get with it, you know, like it just wasn't for me. I was too intimidated. And then also, to be honest with you, I really have a lot of self-respect. Like I just didn't want to be doing that. And once you do stuff like that, it's like now you have established a reputation, and that is impossible to shake, especially in that environment. You know how close, you know what I mean? Like it's like once people know you one way, that's it, and it can follow you from compound to compound. And that's where I also share these stories all the time, because I feel bad for gay people in there. I think that's why I'm like the only gay person that does this, because frankly, I think that my stories, as rough as they are probably like the cleanest you'll even ever hear.
I agree.
Yeah, because it's like, it's crazy, you know, in there. And yet nobody talks about this, you know?
I know, that's why I'm really thankful you're on my channel, because dude, I'm gonna have a climactic end to my prison channel community, because I'm leaving this fake ass community. But let me tell you something. You brought up something very important about reputation. And this is what I wanted to share with you face to face, man, because when I went to the pen by myself, I'm mixed. So I can't ride with the blacks. I can't ride with the Mexicans. I can't ride with the Indians. I'm riding by myself. Then I'm not a gang member. So this is the problem I want to share with you, Lucky. So let's say you got these lifers, but they're not a shot caller and they ain't part of no, some lifers is just murderers. They just by themselves because they're a lifer, right? And once they realize you're not in a protected class, like, oh, you're not a Crip or a Blood or a Sereno or Tenyo, you're not riding with the blacks, you by yourself, them horny lifers is like, hey, my man, you sure are pretty, man. I got life. And I'm going up in your butthole. And I'm like, dude, you got me twisted. And the reason I bring that up, Lucky, like you said, reputation follows you from compound to compound, prison to prison. So every prison I went to, the reputation I had was, that's a sick, stupid mofo, man. He's retarded. And I had to set that presence, Lucky, because no, every time you go to a new prison, people don't know you, but they hear stories about you. So then they kind of be like, oh, okay, I think I'm gonna leave that dude alone. You know what I mean? Or if you, like you said, you've been getting rat packed by everybody, like, oh, okay, well, now we're gonna do the same thing here. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right. I know. It's a real, very tough place.
Yeah.
Like, it's a hardcore place. You know?
Yeah. Hey, but I want to switch the topic. So we talked about shot callers. We talked about gang members. I want to talk just about gangsters. And to me, a gangster is different from a gang member. A gang member is part of a group or association. A gangster is a dude like robs banks, stick up dude, drug dealer. You know what I'm trying to say? That kind of, he's not part of like a clique or whatever. Do gangsters have consensual sex with gay dudes in prison?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking, you know.
That I dated, actually, you know, like I dated a guy that had kidnapped somebody. I didn't even know this until after, you know, we was already like together. I dated somebody that I dated a lot of people that used to sell drugs to people, and or, you know, distribution was the charges that they had. I dated somebody who grand theft auto charges, they used to steal cars and stuff. And actually, with what you were just talking about with like the life verse, that was also something that I started to notice that was very common. A lot of the guys that come at the homosexuals usually have like a lot of time, which of course, you know, makes sense. Like they usually have 20 and up years.
Right,
you know
right.
Yeah. And I think that's also what makes it such a strange environment, because really homosexuality is actually not tolerated. What even makes this tolerable or like somewhat acceptable is because it's not viewed as two guys. It's like, you know, the homosexuals are replacing the girls of this community. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's how people look at you. You know, they, but if like there was like, say like a masculine guy, like you hooking up with somebody else that's like you know what I mean? That would be a huge issue. That would be more of an issue than say like me and you know what I mean? Like hooking up or something like that. It would be more comfortable to see that than to see like two masculine guys. That's
hey,
something
but not to interrupt you, Lucky, and I appreciate what you're saying, and I've seen what you're saying a lot, but also at maximum security and level 3, 4, I've seen masculine dudes with other masculine dudes, and they doing it in the low when they do the lockup. But then they come on the yard like, yeah, homie, I'm swollen, I'm a killer. Yeah, Vato, yeah, what? You know what I mean? But then they next to my cell's next to theirs, homie. And let me tell you something, even though when they lock the cell doors, you can hear shit through the vent.
No,
you know what I mean? So I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that perpetration shit.
Yeah, no, and you're definitely right. But the key word is, like you said, it's on the low.
Right. No, that's all I'm saying. Yeah. But then they come out on the street. They come out on the street with their tattoos and muscles and their reputation. And then they meet these young ladies who like bad boys, and they're going all up in the young ladies because I don't know if it's you or somebody else, but they're talking about, oh, there's condoms in prison. I'm like, motherfucker, I ain't never seen no condoms in prison, you fucking lying fuck. Get the fuck out of here. And so then they have unprotected sex, man, with this lady boy. And then they come out to their wife or their girlfriend and don't tell them, hey, when I was in the pen, I was a bull. What's that, babe? I like other masculine men, and I just go up in their buttholes, babe. And I'm going up in your butthole, babe. I don't think so, honey. So that's why it's a secret.
Yeah, no, definitely, hands down, you know. And it's hey, and it's just one of them things. It's just like, you know, how it is. And the other thing that I noticed that's kind of ridiculous is when people say people use trash bags as condoms. Like, ain't nobody using no condoms in prison. I mean, you think of how many guys want to use condoms when they're having sex. Like, so now it's a bunch of guys. Like, who is using condoms? You know what I'm saying?
Like criminals are going to practice safe sex. Oh, you know what? We have to practice safe sex. Go by the guidelines. Yeah, okay. Hey, but I got another question to ask you. What about correctional officers? Have you ever known correctional officers that are free, man? They work in prison to actually have consensual sex or even forced sex, dude, not letting you go to commissary with gay dudes.
I've been hit on by an investigator. Like literally his penis was like right there, like on his leg, while he was actually asking me questions pertaining that sugar daddy dude. Like there was at some point I was kind of like nervous or something, and I kind of just like overreacted, and as like a precaution, I guess, they had me speak to this investigator, and he has me in there like, you know, he's showing me pictures online and stuff like that. We're going on Google, like just like surfing the web. And the whole time it's like I knew, and he was telling me all these stories about other homosexuals that were like hoes, you know, and I knew why he was telling me these stories. And meanwhile, I could see his junk like the whole time that I was there. It was actually like pretty tempting, but I was scared to mess with staff. But
I mean, did he pull it out, or was it just big and you could see it through his pants?
It was big and I could see it through his pants, but he knew that I could see it because it was intentional. Like he had tight pants on, and that was already big, but then he had scrunched them up. And the longer that I was there, yeah, and the longer that I was there, he kept bringing yeah, he kept bringing attention to it. Like he kept scrunching at his pants the whole time. Like, so I could see it.
Yeah. Wow.
It was a very uncomfortable moment, probably because I was like enticed, but I was nervous as hell. Like you know what I mean? I was a short time person. I only was serving 4 years, and I met so many people that they came in with 4 or 5 years, and I'm meeting them at the tail end of 10 years because they got hemmed up with different stupid things. So I was very cautious about what I did and with who, but there was that. There was a CO that I did actually get kind of bold with, and I had flashed myself to him because we used to like flirt and everything. And then he became like extremely jealous after I got with Cam, where he was trying to get Cam written up and like removed out of the pod and stuff like that, where I had to go to the unit manager to get this CO not to work this building anymore. So there was that. There was another CO that he used to like flirt with me when I would be going in and out of the rec yard. Because at the state facility, the private facility didn't do this, but the state facility, they would do pat downs every time like you came in and out of the building, in and out from the rec yard. If you were going to the library, chow, whatever, they always did like pat downs. And he would like, you know, they usually do like, you know, kind of like bullshit pat downs, I guess. But like with me, he would just like rub all my legs. You know what I mean? Like it was really weird. And so then I started kind of like obviously making jokes about it. So then he started literally flirting like with me. But this was at the time where I told you I was moved around a lot. So then I ended up getting moved around and I just didn't see him anymore because he worked, you know, that building. But yeah, I saw it all the time. And then there was the tranny that I knew. She loved getting hooked up with officers. She had officers where they were bringing her in stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but like, when you say tranny, she had the breast job in the fake juicy butt, right?
Yeah. Well, I think hers was real, and she flashed it to everybody. She flashed her breast to everybody. She flashed her ass to everybody, and it worked. I mean, because then them people, the guys were giving her anything she wanted. Anything she wanted. Wow. Yeah.
Hey, but I gotta ask you this question, man. And this is a rhetorical question. I just want to get your thought on it. But why do you think I'm gonna send you this link to this dude his name is Andy. He's a white dude that had a vehicular manslaughter, and he went to maximum security prison. Just a square dude, just a law-abiding dude, and he was a white dude, right? But I want to ask you, why do you think it doesn't matter what race it is, but if you're not a gang member or a criminal, let's just say you're an accountant and you accidentally hit somebody with your car and you go to prison. In your opinion, why do you think people join up with a clique or a gang or ride with their people, you know what I mean, if they're not a criminal in prison? Why do you think that is?
They think that they're going to get protection. But the ironic thing is that it leads them into more danger than if they had just been doing their time and just got to know a couple of people. You know what I mean? But a lot of people, when they get in, are scared. Like they're scared, you know. So they join. The first thought a lot of people have is like, oh, I'll join a gang, and then this way I have a support system and I'll be protected. But the gangs are involved in the most trouble than anybody else on the freaking compound because they got all the territorial, like, you know, issues. You know, they got the drug wars, and then also they're trying to, like, you know, dominate certain spots of the compound. So it's like they're in constant conflict, and usually joining a gang puts you in a lot more danger than not being in one, you know. But but that's how people do it.
No, and I wanted to piggyback on what you said. I feel that most people that go to prison, I say most except me, they're scared. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I was scared too, but I'm the kind of dude, like, when I get afraid, man, it makes me violent, bro. That's just because I got my ass kicked growing up being a mixed dude from the brothers just beating my ass. And I just, whenever I get scared, I get violent. But I want to share this with you. Even outside of the gangs, let's say you're a wood and you join the woods and you're not even, you're just some square dude, or if you're a black dude and you just join like the brothers, you ride with the brothers, or if you Mexican dude, you ride the, hey man, there's a cost associated with that too, homie, because if you're not a hard type of dude, it's been my experience, they extort you for canteen, they extort you for packages, They extort you for all kind of shit and putting money on their books. And if you're a soft motherfucker, they might even like coerce you, like, hey, homie, you know, we protecting you, but therefore you gotta let us go up in your butthole, because that's we get love from the homies. That's how we look out for each other, my man. You know what I mean? Because we protecting you, so just spread your butthole open. That's been my experience.
And you know who I know? You know who I've noticed? You're like so silly, but you know who I've noticed the most that is extorted in prison? The child molesters. Like they are extorted. I don't think I seen or heard about a single one that is not extorted. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up, Lucky, because you're obviously in Virginia, but in California, the rumor is, oh, child molesters are in PC and they're away from the people and rapists and all this bullshit, man. And people, when I say this, people be like, oh, OG Silverback was on a special needs yard. Shut the fuck up, fool. All the prisons I've been in, man, I've seen child molesters walking around, rapists walking around, all kind of fucking sexual predators walking around. Ain't shit get done to them. Now, maybe you're right. They got extorted, but they wasn't removed like these other prison channels be talking that bullshit. They just selling some bullshit, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, but here's the last two I got for you, man. Have you ever heard of a straight man getting raped in prison? Have you ever heard stories like that?
I have, and it's actually kind of sad because some of the gay people that I had met that I became like friends with or friendly with, some of them, not all of them, actually were straight, and that had happened to them, and then now they had developed like a attraction, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they had developed now like a new, you know, kind of like desire, but it's
yeah, an affinity, man, an affinity for the dark sex, bro.
And that is really some twisted stuff. And no matter who the person was, what their charge was, whatever, I felt bad. Like just because.
No, I got you. And the only reason I wanted to bring that up, and I want to share, this is me, Lucky. We never scripted our interview, nothing. We just talking as men. But I want to tell you my opinion. Why I'm so upset. Why I want to tell you why I'm so upset with these YouTube fake prison motherfuckers, man. Here's the whole thing. The word is called homophobia. And I'm going to tell you something, Lucky. I do martial arts with gay dudes, bro. I do bodybuilding with gay dudes, bro. I got gay dudes in my family. I'm like this, bro. Whatever you do behind closed doors, motherfucker, I don't give a shit. Don't bring it to me. But some gay dudes are cool. There's some gay dudes that look masculine, but they're gay. Like, who am I to judge somebody? But here's what I want to say about homophobia. The reason a lot of these prison dudes are homophobic, bro, is because in the back of their mind, they're thinking they might like it, and they thinking that they would get exposed to it. They won't be the buck, but they're going to be the bottom. And that's why they're so homophobic, bro.
Hey, amen to that. And I actually turned a dude that was homophobic. That was like the wildest thing that I've ever did. And it was a white guy, actually.
Yeah.
This dude, he was homophobic. He was a real asshole too. But somehow, I don't know, I just got him to mess around with me.
Well, go ahead, Lucky.
No, it was just one of those things. I mean, it just sort of just happened, you know?
Well, let me tell you this story, man. This was a couple different shot callers. I'm not going to say the race because I'm not trying to get more death threats, but the cells were next to me. And it's a term in California. It's called, if you flip, you're going to flop. And what that means is I've seen the most masculine shot callers with tattoos, murderers, shot callers chop dude's head off. And then they move a lady boy in their cell. And then I hear them at night having sex or whatever. And the lady boy tells them, hey, you know, inside of your anus, there's this thing called a prostrate, and you have the most fantastic orgasm. And then dude's like, for real? And the guy goes, yeah, I'll just be gentle with you since it's your first time. And I just want you to experience the beauty of it. And then, so then the lady boy penetrates the masculine dude, and the masculine dude likes it. And so then he flips. So now they just taking turns on each other. And the reason I know, because now the masculine dude, his voice isn't quite as rough as what it was, and he's not quite as mean as what he was. And he's got a little skip to his step, man. So I was like, wow, man. That's all I'm saying. That's why guys are homophobic. But hey, man, it's been a pleasure interviewing with you. Is there anything you want to tell the people before you go about your channel or your thoughts or whatever?
You know, hopefully you'll check it out. It's definitely like, you know, different, like a different perspective on prison. Not too many people really nobody talks about this other than you. Actually, I've seen a lot of your videos. Actually, you very real and raw, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you having me on. I really appreciate this. Maybe we can have you on my channel. That would be really cool.
Hey, I would like that, Lucky, but man, I got to be honest with you. Like, I'm on meds, and I'm just being honest. That's why I don't do live stream, because you never know what I'm gonna say, because I don't give a shit, bro. It's not disrespectful, but a motherfucker asked me a question that I ain't been prepped for. I just let it roll. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you about this story about this lady called Life Without Parole. She interviewed me, man, on her channel. And dude, she asked me a question I wasn't ready for. And when I ripped into her, bro, she stopped the interview right there and deleted the footage, bro, and ran far away from me, bro. So anyway, yeah, let's talk offline about getting me on your channel, man. But it was a pleasure having you. Hope you have a wonderful day, Lucky. Thanks again.
Thank you, too.
All right, bye.